What's up, guys? Same clothes. Made like 4 videos a day. I actually brought extra shirt change in too, so you guys wouldn't know it, and forgot to do it. So we're just gonna finish out today with this shirt on as well. I really like the EOTech Voodoo shirt anyway, so it's gonna be in all of them this week and probably next week. But today we're gonna be looking at the CZ P07 Tactical. Now I actually have done a video comparing this gun to the P01, but I've not done a straight video to tell you what I thought about this gun on its own. So that is what I am going to do today. Now, I do want to say it does have decockers right here. The gun is cleared, as you can see right there. It does have decockers. They are ambidextrous. That is really the only ambidextrous thing on the gun. Now over here, it has this huge slide release right there. I mean, if you miss that, I don't know what to tell you, because this slide release is just enormous. Trigger, I don't know. Let's go. Let's look at it. I felt better triggers, but it's not horrible. So it is double action, single action. This is really smooth take up till you start hitting that tension. You pull back on that double action right there. It's pretty stiff. Feels like it's probably 8.5 pounds ish. Reset, super long, and then you have to actually come back. Let me show you that again. Reset is actually pretty long, hits right there, and then you actually have to come back to the wall. And it has a little creep, and then the single action pull isn't bad. It's just got a little creep in between it. Definitely felt better triggers over the years. I do like the mag release. It's really easy to get to. This thing does have interchangeable back straps as well. This one does have it does have night sights, but it has suppressor height sights, and it is threaded from the factory. Now, years ago, I had one of these, and it was just a plain Jane gun. It didn't have the suppressor height night sights. It just had 3-dot white sights and no threaded barrel. And when I picked this thing up at Myrtle Beach, it was at like Gander Mountain in Myrtle Beach, and that place has long since went out of business since. But I picked it up and I threw it out, and I was like, oh my gosh, those sights are just right there. This gun has always been a very pointable gun for me, and a lot of people will tell you the same thing. But there is one thing about this: you do not want to dry fire this. There's like a little pin in here or something. I'm not sure if it's that one, but there's a little pin in here that you can actually damage and break, and the gun can malfunction if you dry fire it without like a snap cap or something in the gun. So don't just go willy-nilly dry firing this like you would your Glock, because you could possibly damage something. Like I dry fired it there a minute ago to show you the trigger. It won't hurt it a few times, but if you do it a lot over and over, you can actually damage the firearm. So that's the extent of my dry firing of this gun, is what I just did on this video, and it will never be dry fired again. Now, one thing I do like about this, and it's a little bit ahead of its time, I think this version of this gun has been done away with. I don't think they make this one no more. I don't know why I like this version the best, but I think they discontinued it. That's the word I'm looking for. But they did put like thumb pads right here, like memory pads, and I think that is actually a little ahead of its time. A lot of guns were not doing that back then. You see it more now, but a lot of guns weren't doing that back when this gun came out, and I just thought that was actually pretty cool and pretty notable as well. It does have a pick rail underneath. You can see the Surefire X300 mounted to it, and it feels really good in the hand. It really does. I had a hard time deciding between the small back strap and a medium, but I did go with the medium, and I just thought it pointed better for me with the medium back strap. Now, if you get lucky and find one of these, it comes with an 18-round extended magazine. That's what the factory magazines are. If you get the standard version, they just come with 15 rounds. You can see this is the 15-rounder. It just has the extended base plate on it from CZ. So here's what it looks like in the gun, if you're wondering. Kind of sticks down a little bit. I actually like that look. I think it looks really tactical there again. So I really like it. But enough talking. I forgot to bring extra magazines, so I have to load this thing in between. Let's do some shooting. All right, guys, one thing I did want to mention real quick is this beaver tail. It fits so good in your hand, and the way they invert these rails right here, look how low that thing sits. This should be very manageable recoil-wise for a polymer pistol. With 18 rounds, it's a little difficult to get the magazine in, but you can see, not impossible. Going to decock it, try that double action version like we always do. Okay guys, I've got, I don't know, maybe 50 to 60 rounds through this gun myself. I did get this off my cousin, and I don't know how many rounds he'd had through it, probably a few hundred. So far, 100% reliable. I've not had any issues. My other one I didn't have any issues, and actually it could probably stand to have a little oil because it's a little dry, but even with it being a little dry, still runs great. Barrel has oil on it, just the slide rails don't really have a lot of oil. Should have oiled them before I come, but there again, run flawlessly. And the other one I probably had 500 rounds ish through it, maybe a little more. No malfunctions with it as well. I really don't expect to have any issues with this. There again, kind of like the HK video, the USP video, these sights are not really target sights. There is a ton of air in between the sides and the front of this, and that front sight is really, really fat. Very, very combat accurate. No problem with that at all. But probably not your competition pistol. The Shadow 2 would be much more suited for that. Now, as far as the trigger goes, that double action pull felt pretty heavy. I've felt better double action pulls, and the P01 versus this video, the P01 did have a better trigger, the Omega trigger. I did like it a little better than this trigger in the P01, but the single action trigger is actually pretty good. It's just the reset feels a little long to me. And for back when this pistol was designed and made, it was probably really, really good. I'm not gonna say it wasn't really good. Back then, it really was. If I remember correctly, when I bought mine, I was like, man, this thing has a great trigger. But triggers have came a long way. We have, you know, the Walther PDP now. We have Canic Rivals. We have triggers like that that just have phenomenal triggers. To me, the Rival trigger is better than like a staccato trigger. It is just crazy how good that Rival trigger is, and I got a lot of flack for that in another video, but I said what I said, and I say it again. I love the Rival trigger. So when you have triggers like that, it's hard to actually put this to it. And I know it's a different category because this is double action, single action, but when you have triggers like that out on the market today, it just makes these feel wanting. It just leaves you wanting more. It is what it is though. I do enjoy shooting this, and I enjoy it so much, I'm gonna do it some more. All right, guys, the recoil on this, as you've seen right there, very, very manageable. The way these slide rails are inverted and frame rails, it just makes the recoil of this gun very, very manageable and a really soft shooter. If you're looking for something that's fun to shoot or maybe even to carry, and you like a double action, single action style pistol, I would much recommend this over something like the USP. The USP is a little bit older design, but if you're looking at something like this versus something like this, is a much more ergonomic pistol, and it's going to be reliable. CZ is known for the reliability. It's going to be reliable, and I would not care at all to actually put this in my EDC rotation, although it's a little big for what I like to be EDC, but I would not care at all to do that because I think follow-up shots will be very easy with this, as manageable as the recoil is. Now, I'm getting up close to 100 rounds through this with what I put on camera and off camera and stuff like that over this video and the P01 video. And I forgot just how much I really like these guns. The trigger does leave you wanting a little more, but the gun just feels good in the hand, and it's so pointable that it's just fantastic. I never regretted buying this one, but I did regret selling my other one, which is why I bought this one. And there again, I don't think you can get this exact version anymore. I don't know if they discontinued all the P07s, but I think they discontinued this model with this threaded barrel. But as we always do, let's back it out to 40 yards, see if we can hit anything. All right, guys, as usual, 124 grain. It's blazer brass, 40 yards, a little bit smaller than human-sized torso steel. See how many we can hit out of 10 rounds. This gun shoots. I mean, it just shoots. You see right there, 10 out of 10. No optic, just iron sights, and that's the way it should be. Maybe I'm picking it up a little bit today because I've been lacking in the accuracy department today. But 10 out of 10 with this. Again, would not care at all to actually carry this gun. It shoots so soft, and there at the end, I was picking up the pace a little bit, still making hits on target at 40 yards. Just love the CZ P07. All right, guys, final thoughts time. Love it. 2 thumbs up. Very pointable, very accurate, even at distance. I know 40 yards isn't an astronomical amount, but I have a lot of comments on here that says, I don't even worry about 40 yards. I would never shoot 40 yards, maybe see the gun because I don't worry about it, but I want to know that, like the guy in the mall that time that had to do what he had to do, if I'm at 40 yards, I want to know I can make hits. And I want to carry a gun that I can hit at 5 yards, at 10 yards, at 7 yards, at 40 yards. And if I could get out to 100 yards, I would do it just for, S and G's. But 40 yards, realistically, probably isn't going to be something that you're going to have to do. But it's not out of the realm because people have had to do that. So if I have a firearm or a pistol that I'm thinking about carrying, and I know I can make hits at 40 yards, then I definitely know I can make hits at 7 yards, at 5 yards, or whatever it needs to be. And I get really comfortable with that gun because I know I'm accurate with it. So should you practice at 40 yards? I don't know. You don't have to. Most interactions like that don't happen at 40 yards, but there have been a few that did, just the comment section. But back to the P07, this thing is amazing. Again, 10 out of 10. Couldn't ask for any better than that. And sometimes I throw this in my vehicle and it's my truck gun because I like it that much and it's just fun to have around. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Are you a fan of the P07 or the P09, I think it is the full size version? Do you own one? Did you get rid of it for any reason, or is it something that's always going to be in your collection? This one is never going anywhere. I got rid of one. I regret it. I got one I like better. And it's going to stick around for a while. I appreciate you guys watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. I love you guys. We'll see you next time.